It is 7:01.
All counselors are present.
Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everybody tonight. And special orders. We have one very special order. Councilor DeForest will present the fire hat. So Sheila, if you'd make the presentation, please.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I was pleased to participate in a fire ops training with our Beloit firefighters to help me understand a little better what it's like to meet the demands and rigors of their job as firefighters. And as part of that training, I actually had to go into a building with fire. I was actually outfitted as an actual firefighter and received a helmet and all the gear that I borrowed to go into that fire. And I was able to keep the helmet as part of that training. And I decided that I really wanted to share that with a young person who has an interest in being a Beloit firefighter in the future. And I found that Romel Pinson right here, who is a 9-year-old, he is very interested in becoming a firefighter, and certainly we want him to do that for the city of Beloit, right? So I wanted to be sure to present this as fire hat with the vice president of our union here. We have Mr. David Hansen, and so I wanted to present that to him at this time.
Try it on so you can. David, when can they actually train? At 18 or what age?
Yeah, it would be 18 years old. Yeah.
He's got about 9 years. Okay, so we'll be watching. Okay, congratulations, bud. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, fireman. Thank you, Sheila. Okay, public hearings.
Under public hearings, 4A is a proposed ordinance amending the future land use map in the City of Beloit Comprehensive Plan to change the future land use designation for the property located at 1405 Madison Road and 1402 Townline Road from neighborhood commercial to community commercial. This is first reading.
Ms. Christensen.
So what I'll do is I'll give one presentation for all three items. So
thank you.
The first item on your agenda is to actually, what Lori just said, is to modify the future land use plan of the comprehensive plan. And then the second item, can you not hear me? The second item is the approval of the PUD Master Land Use Plan. So the PUD Master Land Use Plan is for a redevelopment project which would involve the construction of storage unit buildings containing up to 140 storage units and duplexes on the properties located at 1405 Madison Road and 1402 Townline Avenue. So there would be 2 duplex buildings on the southwest corner of Townline Avenue and Whipple Street, and then the construction of 3 self-service storage buildings on the vacant land, along with the construction of a driveway connection to the existing commercial property that's at 1405 Madison Road. And then that would be remodeled and expanded into an office building for the storage complex. The PUD process, it's a special purpose district, so essentially what you're doing if you approve it is you're approving a specific site plan and layout. So you're approving the number of units and access and things like that. So you actually have the ability to impose the conditions you believe are necessary to make it not have a negative impact on the neighborhood. If approved, these properties would, in a 2,200 square foot triangular piece of the gas station parcel would be consolidated through a certified survey map. And we did send a public notice to the property owners, and you will hear from one tonight. We had one who called and supported, and then we had concerned neighbors on Townline who asked for some screening, which we did include in a condition of approval. The fire department reviewed this and requested a gated emergency only access only driveway on Townline Avenue. Otherwise, this development will be accessed, the storage units will access on Madison Road only. The city engineer has reviewed the PUD Master Land Use Plan and requested the installation of public sidewalks in front of the duplex along Whipple Street and along Townline Avenue to allow the duplex residents to access school and businesses along Madison Road, which is, I believe, a commitment the city manager made, that as developments came forward, that we would make sure we had sidewalks. And the other review agents did not submit any comments or concerns. I'd ask that on the resolution for the PUD that you lay that over tonight, because the other two items are only on your agenda for first reading. But the resolution for the planned unit development, the conditions included in your resolution are that the approval authorizes the construction of up to 3 storage unit buildings containing up to 440 units and 2 duplex buildings on the properties located at 1405 Madison Road and 1402 Townline Avenue, as shown on the PUD Master Land Use Plan. No other commercial or residential uses are allowed on the subject properties. Prior to the issuance of a building permit, the applicant shall record a CSM that consolidates the subject properties and the 2,200 square foot parcel being purchased from an adjoining owner for driveway access. The duplexes may be placed on individual lots via the CSM. The building setbacks shall be those shown on the attached PUD Master Land Use Plan, and the maximum height shall be 1 story for the storage unit buildings and 2 stories for the duplex buildings. Prior to issuance of a certificate of occupancy, the applicant shall, at applicant's cost, construct public sidewalks along Whipple Street in front of the duplexes and along Townline Avenue from Whipple to Madison. The site plan shall include, and the applicant shall construct, a gated emergency access only driveway on Townline Avenue. The proposed storage unit buildings shall be constructed using materials that are suitable for residential garages, including vinyl siding, asphalt shingles, and aluminum overhead doors. If a security fence is provided, it shall be vinyl coated chain link or better and may not include barbed wire. And just so you know, one of the things that came up at the meeting was a request by the neighbors for a solid fence, and we can't do that because it's on a street frontage. The fence ordinance you guys adopted requires that be open. The development is limited to 1 pole or ground-mounted sign up to 100 square feet per face along Madison Road and may not include wall signs on the storage unit buildings. Prior to the issuance of a building permit for this project, the applicant shall submit a PUD final plan that reflects the conditions above and detailed site and architectural plans for planning staff review and approval. 9 is your standard condition about if there's a major change, it has to come back through this public process, and minor changes can be approved administratively. And then 10 is a condition that was added after the Plan Commission meeting, which is that this development shall include a landscape strip along Townline Avenue to address neighborhood view and light trespass concerns, as the neighbors had concerns about car lights shining on their properties, and just generally having that use there, having some kind of a landscape strip or a barrier. I know we discussed at Plan Commission having those be evergreen. We discussed a number of things. So if you're wanting that to be, I think they might want it to be a little more detailed and require evergreens or something. You can do that, and then we'll make the changes before it comes back to you. And then the last item is the actual zoning step, which would be a rezoning from C2 neighborhood commercial to PUD planned unit development district. And just a reminder that when you do a PUD, you're approving what's on the development plan. So this is really your opportunity to impose any conditions you deem necessary to make it fit in the neighborhood.
Thank you. Do we need to have a separate time for each one, or can we do them all three at once for public comment?
The public hearing can be one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So at this time, we'll have a public hearing and comments on A, B, and C, the proposed ordinances amending, the resolution authorizing a planned unit development, and a proposed ordinance amending the zoning district map. So at this time, this is the first call for anybody who'd like to speak on any of these. Just come forward. Please give your name and your address, please, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Lori Goodwick. I live at 1403 Townline Avenue. And I do have a concern about the building across, about the headlights shining into our house, I don't know, at all hours. So I was hoping for evergreens of some height, because if they're too small, it's going to take forever for them to actually be of any use or any privacy. So that was pretty much evergreens of a good size.
Something high enough to block out some of the lights that would come in. Okay.
Right,
And opaque enough.
right, that are somewhat fast growing, that stay dense throughout the year, so we don't have to see it. Kind of disappointed in what we're looking at now. They've already started raising it, so it's just dirt. Looking forward to looking at storage units.
I'm sure Ms. Christensen will take note of that and appreciate it. Thank you, Lori. Again, anybody else who'd like to speak? First call. Second call for anybody who'd like to speak on A, B, or C. Third and final call. Okay, that will close the public comment. We'll go to citizen participation. At this time,
No.
I'm sorry.
I'll make the motion.
We need to do them separately, though.
Okay, we'll do A first of all.
I'll make the motion on 4A.
Okay, Sheila DeForest. The motion is made by DeForest, seconded by Levy. All in favor, say aye.
Motion to
No,
lay over?
sorry. Oh, we're just laying it over? But
lay it
can I comment that I would like to see more detailed stipulation in the conditions before it comes back to us? That there is the inclusion of evergreens with a minimum height. I'd like to ask that that condition be added, please.
I would like to discuss that.
Okay.
We have the motion and the comment, and we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
We're laying it over.
That was motion to lay it over,
Lay it
correct?
over.
To lay over, right? Now, the other two are first readings, is that?
That was a first reading, so you're moving to lay that over for a second reading. And now you have the resolution, which is just to lay over till next meeting without the first, it's not a first
Okay.
reading.
On B, is there a motion on B?
I will move that we lay it over till the next meeting.
And I'll second.
Motion by Preschel, second by Duncan.
Questions?
Question?
This is the item that it's my understanding, and I'm getting a sense from the council, that you would like to see a more specific criteria in number 10 in regard to the landscaping requirements. So if that is correct,
Yep.
then let the record reflect that when this comes back to the council, staff will consider additions and additional criteria to stipulation number 10 in regard to the type of landscaping and height.
I would also like to discuss the possibility of a waiver on the fence rule.
Only Board of Appeals can waive that. So it's a variance to the zoning ordinance. So you can add a condition to endorse a variance request, but the Board of Appeals is the only board that has the authority to grant that request.
Okay.
The applicant has to actually request that, so I don't know, Beth, how we can even move forward a variance if they don't want to ask for that.
Right, you can't do that today at tonight's meeting,
Yeah.
but you can have the endorsement of
Yeah.
that, if that's what you'd like to add.
Yeah.
But that won't take, I mean, if the applicant doesn't apply for it, then it becomes a moot point.
Yeah.
But we will add to the PUD the consideration of the evergreens.
Is there any further detail that you need, Ms. Christensen?
Not on that part. We'll put something together for your next meeting, and then
Okay.
if you want
With that
to play with
amendment.
it after that, I guess
Thank
you'll
you.
play with it.
Okay, we have a motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. Okay, C.
I'll move to lay over item 4C.
Motion by DeForest, seconded by Levy. Questions? No questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0.
Citizen participation.
So now we're on citizen participation. At this time, any citizen who'd like to speak on any matter of importance to the council can come forward. We'd like to ask you to be respectful and not make disparaging comments towards anyone. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. Please give your name and your address. Okay, first call for citizen participation. Second call. Third and final call. The Packers playing tonight? Oh, sorry. Okay, that will close citizen participation. Consent agenda.
All items under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless the council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered at this point on the agenda.
Anybody like anything removed? Okay, is there a motion?
I'll move we approve this consent agenda.
Motion by Preschel,
I'll second.
seconded by Duncan to approve all A, B, C, D, E. Yeah, is that it? Yeah, A, B, C, D, and E. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0.
Moving on to ordinances, 7A is a proposed ordinance to amend Section 25.04, Sub 4D of the Code of General Ordinances of the City of Beloit pertaining to officials authorized to issue citations.
Ms. Christensen.
As I believe we told you during budget time, we did some, I think it was budget time, we did some shifting. We had a vacant inspector position and a vacant admin assistant position, and so we did some reorganization to meet departmental needs. And so there's a new position called a compliance specialist that is the primary person doing the rental program and is also a backup inspector. And so that position, which is new to the organization, has to be added to this table, which says who has the right to issue citations. And so that's essentially what this does, is it gives the authority to write citations related to the rental program and related to general inspections that the other property maintenance inspectors can do. And it's on your agenda for first reading to be laid over under the rules.
Questions? Motion? I'm sorry. Sheila, did you have a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I did. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I just had a quick question. I noticed that administrative assistant was struck out of one of the categories. Were they issuing citations before?
For the rental program, they were.
Okay.
And so it's not, what's struck is the departmental names, because what ended up happening was one of our admin assistants actually took that job, the one that was doing some of the rental stuff. So Ashley, who I think you've seen here before. And so then we filled one of the admin assistants, only part-time, you may recall from the budget. So we have a position and a half there. And so it says instead administrative assistant in the community development department, because it's a position and a half. It used to be a position for each division.
Okay.
They both report to me, so that then I can make sure the workload, like if we have stuff that needs to get done, that it'll just flow through me.
Distribute it. Okay.
So it says administrative assistant in the community development department instead of the two separate divisions.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. That's all I had.
Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion by Hendricks.
Layover.
Layover. Second?
Yeah, first reading.
Seconded by Duncan. All in favor to lay over?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. B.
7B is a proposed ordinance to repeal Section 1.51 Sub 3F and to amend Section 1.58 Sub 7 of the Code of General Ordinances of the City of Beloit pertaining to the municipal court.
Attorney Krug.
Pursuant to the state statute and local ordinance, the municipal court is under the direction and control of the elected municipal court judge. The city council is responsible for determining and setting the budget for the court. We do have a couple of ordinances that relate to the municipal court, and the Judge Jose has requested that we provide some clarification in those ordinances to make clear the independent autonomy of the municipal court operations, and that those employees that are within the municipal court do report to the judge herself. So this ordinance, the proposed ordinance, takes care of those concerns.
It's fair to say it makes it an independent entity and takes it away from any perception of it being part of the police department.
That is, yeah, any other city department, it becomes an independent department within the city.
Thank you. Questions? Councilor DeForest.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Move approval.
Moved by Levy. Seconded by Sloniker. To lay over. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0 to lay over. Ordinance C.
7C is a proposed charter ordinance to combine the offices of the city clerk and the city treasurer, to repeal and recreate Section 1.24 and to repeal Section 1.26 of the Code of General Ordinances for the City of Beloit.
Mr. Miller.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So last Friday, our city treasurer, Lillian Morrow, retired from the city after 42 years of dedicated service. Her service and institutional knowledge, as well as just her overall presence on the second floor, is going to be greatly missed. And I not only speak for myself, but I speak for everybody who ever really came in contact and worked with Lillian directly. She was just a wonderful person overall. And so I just want to publicly say thank you to Lillian for everything that she has ever done for me personally, and as well as for the city and the citizens of Beloit. So I just wanted to get that on the record. I know she would not be very happy with me right now, but since she's not here, Perfectly fine.
You didn't even want a cake, so you're
I
really
know, but I had to do it. So anyways, so with Lillian's retirement, that became the basis for creating the charter ordinance that's before you tonight. And that ordinance simply states that it allows the city to combine the offices of the city clerk and the city treasurer into one clerk treasurer's office. This was part of a finance department reorg that was presented to you during the budget process. And the consolidation of the offices is really designed to improve some customer services, improve on some of the efficiencies that already did exist within the department, as well as help in the overall budget. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take those now.
Councilor Levy.
Not so much, I guess, a question as it is a statement. I would be remiss if I didn't say I was a little concerned. And the reason being is we're taking two large divisions and we're putting them together without adding too much more manpower. Throughout the course of history, we see where these departments are busy enough on their own. So now we're combining them without increasing too much of the staff. And I know we're saying customer service will, continue or improve. I just want to make sure that when we're doing this, customer service does not suffer, but then we're not putting too much on individuals that's in these two departments. Because, I mean, just looking at the last election, I think the city clerk's department was busy. And I know during tax season, the treasurer's department is busy. I just don't want us to be biting off more than what we can chew right now, just to say we're saving a few dollars because it could cost us in the long run. I just want to make sure that we proceed, and I'm not questioning anyone's ability, so that's not what I'm doing. I'm just questioning the overall function of the two departments. They're large departments. We're bringing them into one. I'm sure it's going to work. I'm sure we're going to have a few hiccups, but as I mentioned before, I don't want the hiccups to be so large that the public suffers in the long run. So I know you've thought about it. I need to be honest and say I like it. I mean, I can live with it. I'm just kind of uneasy right now because it's just looking at those two departments and putting them together is huge.
No, I appreciate that comment, and we have taken several months to go through and vet this process out completely. We did include Lillian, in fact, in the reorg plan, so she was as part of the team is going through and making sure that everything in terms of customer service would not suffer. So I agree with you that as any time when you consolidate two departments or divisions, you may have some issues that you have to work through, but I do very firmly believe that with the inclusion of Lil in that process, I think that everything was designed and will work to improve on the customer service that we will provide, and that we will do our best, as always, to not have that suffer. Okay. But I do appreciate that comment.
Okay.
Councilor DeForest.
Thank you. I appreciate your concern, Councilor Levy, and I do see it as a great opportunity for efficiencies across the divisions. So I think that it could be a benefit where you have some shared staff responsibilities, because like you said, there are times of the year that are busy for one division and there's times of the year they're busy for the other division, and so there could be some cross-sharing. So I'm appreciative of that, and I know there are many other municipalities that operate with a clerk/treasurer position and function very well. They make sense to go together. So, and really doing my research and looking at it, I think it makes sense for our city, and truly we do have to be frugal. We're running a tight ship here, a tight budget, and so it makes sense to make this transition at this time, for me at least. Thank you.
Manager Luther.
I just wanted to reiterate what our finance director has shared with you, in that I have personally managed in other jurisdictions that have had these shared responsibilities. So I am confident in our ability to make this transition, and and look forward to the implementation moving forward. I respect very much the questions that are raised, and we'll be poised to respond to those as we continue the implementation process.
Attorney.
I just wanted to point out, this is different than a regular ordinance. It's a charter ordinance, so just so council is fully aware, charter ordinance doesn't go into effect for 60 days after its final passage, so that would be after the second reading on February 6th. There is a process, though, that if 7% of the electors do file a petition, that this could go to a referendum vote if that happens. So I just wanted you to be aware of that process. If we don't receive any petition filed on behalf of the electors, then this will go into effect after 60 days after the final passage.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Levy.
Layover.
Second.
Seconded by DeForest for layover. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. D.
7D is a proposed ordinance to amend Section 1.88 Sub 7A of the Code of General Ordinances of the City of Beloit pertaining to the regular meeting time for the Police and Fire Commission.
Attorney Kruger.
The members of the Police and Fire Commission recently adopted an ordinance, or a recommendation to the City Council requesting that the ordinance that relates to the start time of the PFC meetings be adjusted from the current ordinance language that says the meeting shall start between 6:30 and 8 p.m. to move that time to 5 to 8 p.m. The main reason for that is being the calendars of the commission members, and I believe that you've all received an email from Mr. Berkeley. He was the sponsor of that request at the PFC. So they are cognizant of any issues that would result in a lot of interest from the public and would be willing to make sure that those meetings may be set a little bit later for those particular things. But for the general day-to-day or month-to-month business of the PFC, they would like the ability to be able to move their meetings back to 5 or 5:30. So that's what they're requesting.
Thank you. Any questions? Councilor DeForest.
I guess I would like to make an amendment. I would like to see the start time be no sooner than 5:30. That is a compromise, I think, because it's still a little earlier, as they've requested, but it gives people a time who have a traditional work schedule to actually come to the meeting at 5:30. So I would like to make that amendment and see if I can get a second on that.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, we better have a hand count. Could you raise your hands, please?
Aye.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So,
So what I'll do is I'll make a substitute amendment for your next meeting that indicates a start time between 5:30 and 8 p.m., correct?
that's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we'll need a motion to lay the matter over still.
We need a motion to lay this over. Is there a motion? Moved by Duncan, seconded by? Seconded by Sloniker. All in favor to lay over, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. Appointments, we have one appointment.
There's one appointment this evening, and it's for the Appointment Review Committee, and that would be Lynn Volbrecht replacing Mardell Jacobson to a term ending December 31st, 2019.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by DeForest. Seconded by Hendricks. Seconded by Hendricks. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. Okay, Counselor activities and upcoming events. Counselor DeForest.
Okay, thank you. I have a lot. We haven't met in a while. So first of all, I would like to thank the Beloit Fire Department who provided a very generous donation of winter coats to Caritas Pantry and Community Center. So very grateful to the fire department for doing that. And also want to recognize the Visit Beloit staffers who organized a winter clothing drive as well. So we had some wonderful city employees, staff who went above and beyond to make sure that residents were warm and will continue to be warm for this winter. I did want to make an announcement that there will be a meeting that will be sponsored by LULAC, which is the League for United Latin American Citizens. They will have a community meeting discussing the idea of a municipality ID card, and that meeting will take place this Thursday, the 19th, at San Jose Church at 617 St. Lawrence at 5:30. So if you're interested in finding out more about that, and my fellow counselors, if you're interested in finding out more, because I suspect that issue might come to us in the near future. I was pleased to attend the Unity Banquet and want to thank the School District of Beloit for organizing that event for us. It was a wonderful coming together of community members, and I really appreciated the special effort to involve our young people in the program. Beloit Memorial High School student, senior Yolanda Johnson, emceed the event, and there was lots of entertainment and words of wisdom from our very own youth, and that was encouraging to see. So I really appreciated attending that event. Of course, I have to thank Lillian Morrow for 42 years of service. That is incredible. And she has certainly been such a joy to have as a city employee. Just such grace and generosity, and really appreciate how she's gone above and beyond. I was disappointed because I was, waiting to get invited to her cake event, and she was so humble. She did not even want a cake to celebrate, and she wanted to go out with no fanfare. So just really speaks to the kind of person she is and her humility. So thank you, Lillian, and I'm really glad that Eric did establish for the public record that we are grateful for her service. I wanted to make sure to announce that Winterfest is coming up, which is a wonderful time to get outside. Don't let this cold keep you in. And so Winterfest has many activities planned. Some activities that I'm planning to participate in, January 28th. Welty is having an open house from 12 to 2, and there will be some free snowshoeing. So you can check that out if you've never gone snowshoeing before. Maybe, Kevin, you might want to try that. So snowshoeing is going to happen on the 28th. And then one really nice addition this year, which I'm looking forward to, is from 12 to 4, there will be some ice sculpting at the Rock. So that's nice because then you can hop in the Rock and get a burger and warm up, a burger and a beer, and still go see some ice sculptures. So that's coming up that weekend, so make sure you check out some fun activities. And then finally, I have one more announcement. There will be a Family Immigration Resources Workshop that will be held on February 19th. So I know it's a little ways out, but I wanted to get the date out there so people can start saving that date and making note of it. There's a group of us, small group of us, that's organizing this workshop for community members to help them know what resources are available to them for our residents who are immigrants. Again, that is February 19th. It will be held at Hackett School. The principal of Hackett, who's helped us organize this event, has graciously offered to host it there at Hackett School, and it will be from 2 to 4, February 19th. So thank you for all those announcements.
Thank you. Councilor Sloniker. I got you. You just turned yourself. Okay.
Okay. I have no comment.
Okay. Councilor Duncan.
I just got a couple. Okay. Yeah, I just got a couple. Okay. I just want to say thank you to President Bierman, Cecil Youngblood, Bill Conover, and Beloit College and the Office for Inclusive Living and Learning for inviting me to be the keynote speaker this year at the Beloit College convocation ceremony yesterday. There were other celebrations taking place in our city, so we have lots to be proud of. It was great to have our youth and our community members join in to reflect on the life and legacy of Dr. King. Also, I would like to also thank my fellow counselors, Mark Prushel and Dave Lukey, for attending with me. It was great to have you guys by my side right there. And then also I want to say thank you to Lillian Morrow. Lillian, thank you for your 42 years of service. And you're so good that it took, we had to hire 5 people to replace you. So you were very valuable to the city of Beloit. So thank you for your service. And then also I want to just mention that we have 2 council candidates here. We have Nancy Warbeck and Rose Richer here, so it's great to see you. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Okay.
Councilor Preschel.
Well, I attended 2 Martin Luther King Day events yesterday, the one in the morning that Sheila mentioned and the one in the evening that Regina spoke as keynote speaker, and you had a hard act to follow with that girl from the college. That was an amazing speech she gave. And I got to see Regina here sing for the first time, and she's very good at it. And anyway, it's nice to see that we can have those discussions. We can go out and we can acknowledge, with pride, the things we do in the city of Beloit. And it's another thing that I'm always reminded of in all the venues I'm in. And I've had it happen to me at a couple of restaurants where we've been talking with out-of-towners. Have it happen at work downtown all the time where we see people. And people will come up and say, I can't believe this city's like this. I didn't expect this. You are so welcoming. It doesn't matter who I am or what ethnicity I am. I mean, and this is from people of Indian descent and African Americans and people from out of town. They're not expecting that warm and friendly and engaging, population. It happens all over the city to all kinds of people, and we're all part of that. And I think that's wonderful. And you can bring it out in many different ways, but it just happens naturally here, and then people notice it, and that's a really great thing. And I see it all the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Vice President Levy.
I also have a few, we got to embarrass Lillian at church Sunday because she attends our church, so we put her picture up on the big screen. So she looked dead at me when it happened, so like I had something to do with it. But we want to thank her for her services as well, and you're right, she did not want, I kept calling her saying, when's the party, and she said, we're not having one. So, but thank you for your years of service to the city. Also, as it relates to the Martin Luther King celebrations, every year we do this, and every year it's a wonderful event, and every year we get the youth involved, and every year the community comes together as we do periodically. But I guess I would charge the citizens in the city to not only make it in January. I know we do it throughout the year, but let's try to do it a little bit more often. And it's a wonderful occasion to celebrate, so I'm not taking anything away from that. But it seems like everybody, all the cities, go all out in January, and then as the year goes on, we get back to business as usual. So I would like to see us continue, as we're doing now, to push this. A great example was the cookout this summer, what we did downtown. So when we continue to do things like that, that shows the world that Beloit is not only focusing on this one day a year, but it's like it becomes our norm. It's the way we live here in the city. So I want to encourage us to continue to do that, and thank Councilor DeForest for complimenting the youth, because I think it's very important that we continue to keep them involved, and I know there's several individuals that work with youth. We need to keep them involved. So that's kind of a segue to my next charge to the city, is to continue to work with agencies, and thank you, Sheila, for getting back to me on Facebook with the agencies that's working with youth. But when you pick up the paper and you hear about some of the unfortunate shootings that we're having here, those are babies that's doing it. When you have people 15, 16, 17 years old, those are babies. I like to say those are our babies. So we need to come up with a way to help everybody, to get the young people off the street, to get them more involved in things in the community. We need to step outside the box and think, what can we do? Because I don't buy the fact that that's a bad kid or that kid can't be helped. Everybody can be helped. I think they just need to be shown that people care. So I think that as a city, we need to continue to push to partner with agencies that we have. Also look outside the box and see if there's other agencies that we can tap into. Somebody knows how to reach these kids. And I think it's up to us as officials to kind of put a charge out there to say, you know what, these are our kids. They're in the city, and we have to do what we can to make sure that we protect them, but also to make them a viable part of not only this community, but the communities at large, because as they grow up, they're becoming adults, and I do not want to continue to see them going into the prison systems. I'd rather see them doing something here in the city, and then I'll be done after this. But then we need to look at ways that, unfortunately, if some of them do go into the prison systems, once they come out and come back to our neighborhoods, what do we have for them? I'm a strong believer that if they come back to nothing, that former life picks up, and then the individual is going back. So I want us to really look at ways that, among all the other things that we have to do, but if we don't focus on the younger generation, where's our future going to be for the city? So that's all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Hendricks.
Well, I mean, I forgot what I was going to say now. No, I'm kidding.
Just
In addition to what everyone said, we did have several Martin Luther King events over the weekend. I did attend Black Hawk. There were a few of us there on Saturday. That was a good event. And then, of course, Monday, thank you for everyone who came out to the Unity Breakfast. I helped plan that one. And I want to add that part of the proceeds will go towards Grow Your Own, which is a program that will help minorities, a scholarship. Minorities, not just African Americans, because that is a misconception. All minorities to come back to Beloit. I came back to Beloit to give back, specifically in teaching. So I just wanted to clear that up. Thank you, Anna. And then I wanted to add that I'm excited about being the newest booklegger with the Beloit Public Library. So I get to go out and promote reading to third graders. I did my first go around at OLA. It went well. I had so much fun. So I'm at Robinson next. But it's exciting for me to be able to go out into the schools, and I love young people, so that's what I do anyway. But promoting reading and getting them excited about learning and getting to the library. So that's fun. I'm excited. Hopefully, I'm subbing right now, but hopefully I can get a full-time position. It's volunteer, by the way. Full-time. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Hendricks. Just kind of touch on a few things. I was with you at Black Hawk Tech again, and I think you made all three. You made the trifecta. You were at Black Hawk Tech, and Mark was there also at Black Hawk Tech, weren't you?
No, I was working.
Okay, but then the next day at the Eclipse Center, let's see, Lori was there, and Sheila, and Mark, and we had a table all morning, almost in the afternoon. But you and your sister did a great job of organizing and singing, and a lot of talent there. And then at Beloit College, to see our very own Regina give a wonderful speech. Lori was there, I was there, and Regina was hiding in the back, and Mark was there with the camera, of course. But you did a wonderful job, and you spoke well of yourself, Beloit, and the Merrill Community Center. So it was just very nice. I want, Lori, move up to the front next time. Don't sit so far in the back. But I also am very pleased to see Nancy Forbeck, Anna Kelly, and Rose Richards, three candidates for City Council who come to the meetings. And I make note, as well as Regina, because anybody who takes time to come here when they could be watching, not Antiques Roadshow tonight, but whatever slop operas are on TV. But this is more important than some of the. I won't editorialize, too bad, don't worry. But anyway, it's great that you're here on this night, and I think the public needs to know that. Pardon?
No.
Okay.
Talking to Regina.
Okay, Regina, okay. I just wanted to point out, Beloit made a state magazine again called Municipality, and our rental inspection program is touted in this. And there were pictures, but Lori and our whole program were praised for the great job we're doing in Beloit to inspect our units. And I think it's of critical importance that we have good housing in Beloit. I think most of us, if not all of us in Beloit, feel that way. We have rentals. Let's take care of them. Let's keep them up. Let's have a lot of pride in our housing. So anybody who'd like to borrow my copy is welcome to do it. Okay, that's all I have. We'll go on to reports from the boards and officers. City manager's presentation.
There is not one
There is
tonight.
not, okay.
So 11A is a resolution authorizing the extension of lease agreement with Congressman Mark Pocan.
Attorney Krieger.
As many of you may be familiar, Congressman Pocan was in office on the third floor of this building. The lease terms are tied to their term of office, and so this extends, since he was reelected in November, this extends it for now the additional 2 years. So this runs from January of this year until January of 2019, I believe. Now I say I took my glasses off. January 2nd, 2019. Yeah.
This is ongoing. This is ongoing. Okay.
Yes, so this is just extending that lease to include the additional 2 years. So I'll take any questions if anyone has any.
Any questions? Councilor DeForest.
I don't have a question, but a comment. I want to make sure the public knows that we have stipulated that this office will only be used for constituent services and not for campaign activities. So I just want to make sure that the public knows that. And certainly it's not a reflection of any endorsement of Representative Pocan, but we do want the public to have access to their elected officials. So if any elected official came to us and wanted to lease space at City Hall, we certainly would have that discussion with them. So I want to make sure the public knows that. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Duncan, second by Sloniker. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 7-0. B.
B is a resolution awarding contract C-1621R and amending the 2016 capital improvement budget to provide additional funding for the Beloit Public Library Blender Cafe project.
Nick, you're on.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Council members, City Manager Luther. I also want to thank Greg Boysen for letting me take the lead on at least presenting this at this point. It's been a long haul, as you know. In November of 2015 is where you approved funding to be allocated for this project, contingent on us coming back the next year when we've had more detail. And so that's where Public Works, as well as Angus Young architects, Joe Stottleman, Christy Reuter, have been fabulous, turning the vision into detail and reality in that sense, and along with Public Works. And then last fall, I think it was September, is where we came back again at that time to say, now to get your approval to go ahead and start using those funds. That allowed us then to put it out for bid for contractors, for the construction of it. So we did that right away, went through the process. It came back higher than we anticipated. That part isn't unusual. But when we looked at it, two of the contractors were neck and neck within $800 of each other. And as we looked at the cost, thinking we could get that lower, as well as giving us time to raise additional private dollars, you rejected that bid on that process on December 5th, rejected those bids. Those two that were neck and neck, after we reopened it, came back, presented their proposal, and happily it has come in $15,000 less than they were the first time around. So a combination of the costs coming down, as well as us raising additional dollars, we were able to recommend, ask for a contract here that includes everything. So when it went back, very basic, and then all the items that were in the first round, let's a la carte those out so we can see where we are in our budget and et cetera, and we can value engineer as we go along. So again, as I say, because the cost came down and private fundraising increased, we're able to say we can get everything that we plan on. As Councilor DeForest said, the city runs a tight ship, a tight budget, so do we, and that's why we had to put it out again and then make sure. So there wasn't anything in those added alternatives. There wasn't anything that we really could give up, but we had to take a look and see if we had to give something up. And so again, like I say, we're able to move forward with the detail of our vision, and we're asking you to approve the awarding of the contract and then the amending so that the budget is increased. And what I want to be clear about is from the very beginning, it has been $100,000 from the city. Regardless of how this turned out in the end, and we've had partners coming in, and it had to evolve, as you can imagine, over a year and a half. It had to evolve, more partners, more people getting excited about it. So it changed in that way, all for the better. But all of that was from private fundraising. We're very proud of that. We're very proud of our donors. But I want to be clear on that. It's always been $100,000 commitment from the city, and we are not asking for any more of that. We're just saying we had to put more money in because the city is the one contracting for the full project.
Thank you. I'm glad you reiterated that to the public that the city's obligation has not increased a bit. We are giving nothing additional, but that's from private funds. And again, I want to add, again, this is potentially a great program in many areas, not just for our youth, but for what it can offer the public. So we all wish you success. Question, Councilor DeForest.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. DeMassis, for taking my questions in advance. I just wanted to make sure, because I wasn't sure if you responded to this. I appreciate that the Library Foundation will be offsetting the additional costs. And I wanted to check with you to make sure that we truly received enough additional donations and revenue to that foundation to cover specifically this project. I want to make sure that the other programming and services that that foundation supported weren't displaced. And of course, it's not my authority to say so, but I'm just curious to see if that happened at all.
Okay, thank you, Councilor DeForest. I would add to that too, both the Friends Group and the Library Foundation, which provide crucial funding every year to us. It's also I mean, they work very closely with us, but they're 501c3s, so sometimes it's not even my place to tell them how they can and can't spend that. It has to be within their mission. So that's one, so I appreciate you acknowledging that. The other is, yes, we have fundraised around that. I'm happy to say that Carry Ingredients wrote a check for $50,000, and that was for our equipment and other needs. Hendricks Family Foundation, they wrote a check for $80,000 and then left the door open if we needed additional funds for us to go back after it's open and say, this is our needs, what do you think now that we've been open? And then also critically, we've had 11 individual donors at $10,000 each. We had a $10,000 10 for 10 campaign, and we got a better response than even 10 for 10. So we've had more donors come back at that at $10,000 each, as well as we've had organizations, the Rotary Club, Library Foundation, the Friends of the Library have each contributed $10,000. So what we're asking here is we're putting $130,000, or the Library Foundation is putting $130,000 to the city's $100,000, $130,000. You can already see from what I've described that we have more than that because there's other needs in terms of the blender and its, the furniture and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I thank you for that, but we are confident that we're sitting fine with that.
Thank you. It's wonderful.
Thanks.
I just wanted to add one thing.
Yes, Councilor
I
Duncan.
want to say thank you, Nick, because I can't wait for the cafe to get here. What? Am I?
Yeah.
I can't wait for the cafe to get here. I'm looking forward to it, and I think it's a great way to enhance people to get to the library. So I just want to say thank you. And that fundraising effort, especially with the tough economic climate that's going on, I just want to say thank you. That is really hard work, and it speaks to the togetherness of our community. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Councilor Duncan. If I just want to add something on that, which is one of the reasons that people have been so responsive to this is exactly what you say. It's jobs and careers, jobs and training. So we're really seeing this as an extension of what is happening at the high school, working with the local industry in other areas of the trades. This is one more channel for students to be able to move ahead, get that experience. That's really resonated with our donors, and they critically have supported that.
Nick, I said this before, but I think it was 8 years ago, before Ken Hendricks passed away. One of his dreams was to put a cafeteria in there run by students from the high school, and you've brought that to fruition. I also Kevin didn't want to say it, but he'd like lots of fruits and vegetables, fresh fruits and vegetables, so I said it for you. So, thank you.
Look at me. I did not tell Dave to say that, I swear.
Okay, is there a motion?
Well,
Dave?
I just have one question. I did, campaign and get back on. Is that the reason I got back on? If I could just pick on me at every meeting, I'm just checking, Dave.
Councilor Preschel.
I just want to thank the donors for coming forward and doing this and helping on this. That's amazing, and I'm really amazed at the effort you put into that. And my wife, working around the corner, can't wait for this to open. So and believe me, she'll be very happy to see it open, and I will be too. So it's really great to see. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, is there a motion?
Second.
Moved by Sloniker, seconded by Levy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
11C is a resolution waiving right of first refusal for Mid-States Bedding Company at 1500 Lee Lane.
Attorney Krieger.
Late last week, I was contacted by an attorney for CERTA, and they're going to be doing some internal transfers of the property. As you recall, there are declarations of restrictive covenants on the property out in that industrial park, and one of those is that the city has the right of first refusal. In order for them to accomplish the transfer of property internally from one company to the other, they do need us to waive that right of first refusal. So the document in front of you accomplishes that purpose, and we would ask that you adopt that resolution authorizing the city to waive and release its rights under those declaration of restrictive covenants.
Any questions? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Preschel, seconded by Duncan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. We will now have, the city council will now adjourn to private session to consider the employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of a public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. So we will not be coming back then afterwards? So, okay. So that will close our formal meeting, except for the councilors in closed session. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Need a motion and a...
No, we need to,
Moving
Pat,
into closed session.
Adjourn into closed session.
Thank you.
motion by DeForest, seconded by Preschel. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. We'll now go to closed session. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight.